Well, welcome to the European Fencing Championships here from Düsseldorf in Germany. Right on the banks of the River Rhine. We're at the large Messe halls that are right by the football stadium. And we are into the fourth day of competition, and this is the first day of the team events. And we're here right now for the bronze medal matches. During the day today, we've had men's foil competition and women's sabre, and we're going to run through with the bronze medal match of the men's team foil competition, followed straight away by the women's team sabre. And in this bronze medal match, we've got a match-up between Russia and Italy. Timur Aslanov, Alexei Cheremisinov, Timur Safin and Dmitry Zerbchenko. And the team of Italy is represented by Giorgio Avola, Andrea Cassara and Daniele Garozzo, and then Facconi is the last in line there. And our referees, and looking through at their route through to this bronze medal match. If you look at Russia first, well, they beat Slovakia first off, 45-29. They went up against Hungary and they went through as they go into their huddles, 45-27. And then Russia lost to France, 45-29. Italy, well, they had a bye because they're world ranked number one. They're world ranked the best team in this competition. They then beat Ukraine 45-28, but they lost in dramatic fashion, wasn't it, Karim, to Germany in the semi-finals. Very, very exciting match, that one.
I couldn't contain myself. I've just about come down from that amazing win for Germany over the Italians. A big surprise, but great for the host nation to make it through to the finals here. This one is a belter though. Italy versus Russia, we're used to saying that for a gold medal match, but both losing in the semi-finals, and I have a sneaking suspicion that Italy are going to replace Giorgio Avola with Andrea Cassara.
Well, actually, on the team sheet, they've got Facconi as reserve.
He did do a -4, I think it was, in the semi-final, so maybe it is going to be, well, -5 it was, so yeah.
So we start off, the Russians have lined up Safin, Cheremisinov, Aslanov, with the order then in the second, third, Safin, Aslanov, Cheremisinov, and then in the final all-important third, Aslanov, Safin, Cheremisinov to anchor. So they're on the left-hand side of the draw. On the right-hand side of the draw, the Italians have gone with Garozzo, Avola, Cassara, and then Avola, Garozzo, Cassara, and then Avola, Cassara, Garozzo in the final. But we suspect that Facconi might well come in for Avola. The Russians have Dmitry Zerbchenko as their reserve.
Now, world champion as a reserve. It's incredible, isn't it? The quality of these two teams.
Now, if you're new to fencing, this is the team event, and 3 fencers in a team, but there are reserves that they can tactically replace. And it's like a ladder system. So they fence up until a score of 5 is achieved by the leading team. So it goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, all the way to 45. Now, unless, of course, you don't score those 5 points within the 3-minute period, and you can roll on from periods 1 to 2, 3 to 4 without achieving that target score. And what that does is it actually gives room on the scoreboard for the trailing team to play catch-up, if you like. And the great thing about this format is that the trailing team can score more than 5. And so you can bring on one of your star players. They'll play a blinder and catch right up. So this is foil. The silver lame vest is the target area, and the bib of the mask. It's a point weapon. It's the most technical of the weapons, and it also has a right of way. So the referee decides who the attacking fencer was. There are off-target lights. The white lights are off-target, and the coloured lights are on-target when you hit with the lame. So Timur Safin getting Russia onto the scoreboard as we sit one apiece. Very, very early days in team competition, Karim, and you shouldn't get too excited too early.
Thanks. Was that guidance or? Yeah, no. This is going to be a really tight match. This one for sure. These two teams would have expected to come through their semi-finals and face each other for the bronze medal. And you know, I don't want to labour the point too much, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to. Olympic qualification at stake here. European, well, the zonal championships that are all happening roughly around this time around the world count for so many points, and teams or countries qualify by team first. And these two teams, you'd expect them to qualify for the Olympic Games, but at the moment, it's not necessarily the case that both will qualify.
Well, after this, they have obviously the World Championships and more points up for grabs in the World Championships.
Yeah, also a big one, the World Championships. These are probably the two crucial tournaments in the year for these fencers, because they carry so much weight and so many points towards Olympic qualification.
La riposte est non valable. En garde. En garde, s'il vous plaît. En garde. Prêt. Allez. Ah, t'attaques, repart de gauche. C'est la première. Elle est non valable.
Cassara calling for a video in the box, but Andrea Cipressa saying, no, I think he did stop there. There was a little pause. Doesn't pick up the blade.
Ah, l'attaque est parée. La riposte est non valable. En garde. Prêt. Allez. Action simultanée. Préparation, stop. Attaque simultanée, pas de touche. En garde. Prêt. Allez. Je dis halt pour le corps à corps, pas de touche.
So the referee Pascal Mage calling a core there, body to body in French, corps à corps, and so no hit given.
Tous les deux. En garde.
And saying to both of them to step away.
Allez.
Attack from the Italian. Danny Garozzo going into the lead at 3-1.
Regarde. Fait. Allez.
Oh, again.
L'attaque est de droite.
The first one fails from Timur Safin, the Olympic bronze medalist from Rio 2016. Did not register on his first attempt, and that gave the right of way to Danny Garozzo. The Italians taking an early lead here. Safin now upping the pace, and a counter. Attack into preparation, or a counter, whichever way round you call it. No light up for Safin, and it's a 5-1 start for the Italians. Really good stuff from Danny Garozzo. He didn't go crazy, but he's taken a 4-point lead in this so crucial match.
So Daniele Garozzo hands over to Giorgio Avola, and Alexei Cheremisinov will come on for Russia.
Early lead for the Italians, Graham, I think is so crucial here, because it's going to have to it's going to force the Russians out, and the Italians don't mind being attacked. They look for nice attacks into preparation and counter actions. And if Casararo is on, he's one of the stop hit kings.
Well, the Italians are smarting from that defeat by the Germans.
I think the Russians will be smarting from defeat by France as well. So both wounded tigers.
Attaque. Touche. Point.
Well, sometimes with the replay, we pick it up just a little bit late to see who has the right of way, but that one was given to Giorgio Avola.
Regarde, s'il vous plaît. Regarde. Fait. Allez. Attaque contre riposte de gauche. Non, voilà.
Cheremisinov, in terms of his style, can look.
Regarde, fait. Allez.
I just want to put this politely. No, I won't put it politely. I'm going to justify what I'm about to say here. He can look like he doesn't care.
Yeah,
He looks so relaxed and so calm, but
then sometimes he can just go and look like he's about to explode.
it's part of his game plan. He looks like he's not in the match to try and lure his opponent into a false sense of security. It's a clever tactic. You don't see many fencers doing it these days. It used to be fairly common that a fencer would look like they don't care and they're just playing around. But it works really well for Cheremisinov. The thing is, right here and right now, with the lead so strong for the Italians, he doesn't look like that at all. He looks like he's here to fight. And his face and his expressions before the match started were one of a man that wants to get out there and take this bronze medal.
Regarde.
Well, yet to get onto the scoreboard. Just a little explanation of the scoreboard. You can see that the top score there, the 7-1-1-7, is the total score for the team, and then just below that you have the fencer that's on the piste, Giorgio Avola, in this particular leg, in the second leg of 9. If you look at the middle underneath the clock, it's 2/9. We're in the second leg. Cheremisinov hasn't scored one yet.
3 fencers on each team, but as you said earlier on, they've got a substitute as well. We saw Alessio Facconi there in the Italian box, and I think Daniele Garozzo, well, he got hit in the vitals.
No, that was not Garozzo. That was
Avola. Sorry,
Avola.
yeah. Back up and running now.
Oh,
Nice attack from Cheremisinov. If you look at Cheremisinov's arm, sometimes the point is pointing at the ceiling.
I think that the replay that we saw just now of the injury to Avola Might have been something to do with him shipping the next point to Jeremy Sinov.
Yeah. Referee going to review this one. Jeremy Sinov not happy with the call. Right, so the parry comes from Avila, but does he launch his riposte in time? He does. So the hit is given. There's 2 phases of fencing there. Cherry Missinov missing on the first one. Avila getting the right of way. Oh, beauty. That's a beauty. This is a cart coupe. Blade action at the end. Cart coupe flick onto the shoulder. Now that the timing in foil has changed a little bit back towards how it was, the flick is being employed by a lot more of the male and female foilists.
Yeah, it's just the button on the front. It's how long that needs to be depressed for it to register a point.
Yeah, and it used to be that it was much, much shorter time, and so the problem then was, as far as the federation, international federation were concerned, and I think, to be honest with you, most fencers, that all you saw in foil was flick hits, because it was a guaranteed quick way of scoring points, and it makes it very difficult. It's very hard to parry, to block out a flick to your shoulder. So they increased the amount of time the button needs to be depressed. And then the feeling was, the common consensus was, they'd gone too far, and so they've gone about halfway back towards how it used to be. And now that's why you see in foil these days, and certainly this season, some of the older fencers are performing at the highest level they ever have done, because they have fenced in a period when the flick hit was commonplace.
The other disadvantage of having lots of flick hits is that the viewer, particularly the viewer who's not a fencing expert, can't really see the blade, so it made it harder to sell the sport. So Italy just need one more to see this through to the third leg.
I'm going to sound like a broken record now, Graham. This is Italy. This is what Italy do. They eke out a lead and then they grind their opponents down. Avila not, there's no histrionics, there's no fireworks going on with the Italian. He's come in with a 5-1 lead, and he's saying, right, okay, well, you have to bring it to me. And more often than not...
Well, not on that occasion, not on that particular point. Jeremy Sinov able to come through.
En garde. En garde, s'il vous plaît, le masque. En garde. Prêt. Allez. Ah, j'attaque. Touche. Point.
And that's that. Giorgio Avila taking us to a score of 10-5.
A bad leg from Cherry Missinov for sure, but now Andrea Cassara is on. He didn't feature in the semi-final loss, and I tell you what, he looked red hot when I saw him just before we started here. He was really up for it. I said to him, how do you feel about that semi-final? I said, he didn't fence in it. He said, it happens. Now we have to focus and get up and go and beat Russia for the bronze medal.
And he's up against Timur Aslanov, part of that gold medal winning team in Novi Sad at the European Championships last time out. They picked up a bronze at the World Championships.
I think that the Italians will be looking at this particular fight as an opportunity to extend their lead, but it was a broken time attack from Timur Aslanov, and I've got to say, when I was fencing all those many years ago, broken time attacks were a thing that was employed quite regularly. You haven't seen it for a while, but now they're employing it a lot more. And a broken time attack is basically where you stick your arm out, you're trying to lure a parry, then you bring it right back out of the way, and then you finish your attack. The thing about it is that when you bring your arm back, if your opponent goes after you, it's their right of way, so you have to time it perfectly. But it's equivalent to doing a disengage. It's equivalent to feinting to one side of the body to draw a parry from your opponent, then going underneath the blade and going around. It's just a different way of doing it.
Yeah.
Here's the feint. I bring my arm right back so there's no chance of a parry, and then I finish the attack. It went away from the game for quite a long time, 10 years, I would say. And now it's suddenly started to come back. And it's possibly because of the return of the flick.
Yeah.
Because if fences are going for the circular cease, which usually, I mean, yes, you do get cart parries and then a flick following them, but usually the speed of a circular cease parry lends itself to the flick hit, because you're continuing in the same direction to get to the flick. If you go for cart, you have to change direction to get the flick. And because that parry of circular cease is in there, you put your arm out, draw the parry, and your opponent is nowhere near your target with their point, and then you can finish.
And Andrea Cassara really putting some points on the board there. 15-6. So Aslanov only scoring 1 in that particular encounter.
Targeted that one for Andrea Cassara, and he's been brought into the team to replace the reigning, or the newly crowned individual European champion Alessio Facconi.
So Karim, just explain how the draw works. So when you put in your team, you don't know what your opponent's team is going to put in.
No. So basically what you have is you have the 3 fencers on each team, who each one will fence the opponent once. So all 3 of the opponents once. But you don't know what order your opponents are going to go into. The teams have to go to the organisers and say, right, this is the format for our team. And you select your order right at the beginning. And it actually makes a difference whether you're on the left of the draw or the right of the draw. If you're 1, 2, 3, which in this case it's Italy, you effectively go 1, 2, 3 through the draw, apart from your number 1 man who starts and finishes. So that if you like, if you think about how you want to form your team up when you go into the match, you've got to then think about how your opponents are going to line up. Do you want to get your points early and then control or contain, or do you need to make sure your big man is on last?
But you don't know if you're going to be right or left-hand side of the draw. So
you know before that, when the draw is made, you know whether you're going to be 1, 2, 3 or 4, 5, 6. You do know that, but you don't know what order your opponents are going to go in. So you've got to make it's a bit of a gamble. You've got to decide, are the opponents going to go with their strongest fencer last, or are we going to go with our strongest fencer last? Do we want to get our points early on and then control the match? It's a bit of a toss-up. But these two teams know each other so well that I suspect they knew the order before coming out. What the Russians might not have known is that the Italians were bringing in Cassara. But it's a good point. It's a really good question, because it's integral to team fencing. That the order of matches is really crucial, and if you don't get it right, it's a tough ask to win a match, especially when you've got such high-quality opponents.
Attaque de gauche, voilà. Regarde. Allez.
Big celebrations in the Italian box there for that particular hit. Showboating that one. That's a Kodak moment.
Other cameras are available. Kodak's copying company, isn't it, actually? Nice, really nice from Giorgio Avola. Avola, Cassara have been in and around the Italian team for a number of years. The big man, Andrea Baldini, was their teammate, along with Valerio Aspromonte. Aspromonte trying to get himself back into contention for the Italian team. Didn't get selected for this. Baldini has retired from international fencing. He's now coaching in Turkey, I believe.
Yeah, actually, if you go back to London 2012, Italy won the gold in the men's team foil competition, and Baldini, Avola, Cassara, Aspromonte. They actually beat Japan in the final. But then rewind, or fast forward, I should say, 4 years, and it was Russia that won the gold in Rio. Safin, Chermisinov, Akhmat Kuzin.
Yeah.
I don't think they used their reserve. They beat France. Lefort, Cadeau, Le Pechu, Haïlassi. If you look at the last couple of World Championships, it's been Italy. Italy won gold in Wuxi in 2018. They won gold in Leipzig in 2017. They won gold in Moscow in 2015. Italy are very used to winning World Championship.
Yeah, that's going down 5-1 against Garozzo in the first one and 5-2 in the second one. And I'm wondering if the Russians are going to bring in Dmitry Zerebchenko to the lineup here. Their reserve, sitting on the sidelines, won World Championships. Bit of a surprise, actually. Zerebchenko, but very classic fencer, really nice to watch. Wonder if he comes in. I've got a confession to make to you, Mr. Bell. When you said the Russians didn't have a reserve at the Olympic Games, I thought, no, that's not true. I've just used a search engine to have a look. They didn't. It was just Akhmat, Kuzin, Cheremisinov and Safin. No reserve.
They must have. Yeah, well, maybe there was a reserve, but they didn't use them.
Or they were injured and, and weren't able to compete. At the Olympic Games, it's a weird one. You can have 3 in the individual if you qualify as a team, but you can have 4 in the team event. But the 4th man or woman on your team has to fence to get a medal. And I've seen at Olympic Games before where teams are losing by a margin, and they realise we're not going to get a medal, and they bring their reserve in to make sure he or she gets one.
Oh, gets the fact that they've been to the Olympics.
Well, yes, exactly, true. They're not an Olympian until they go onto the piste. I'm not sure there's any other sport like that,
or the other way around. Say a team is winning by a big margin,
and then they've got the room to bring the reserve on.
Or they bring the reserve on in a match that they think they're going to win early on.
Yeah, sometimes that can go wrong.
Yeah, it can. They introduced tactical reserves though a couple of seasons ago, and that's made a big difference. So you tend to see the reserve used a lot more.
Yeah,
it used to
come
just
in and go out again.
It used to just be for one. Yeah, once you made your substitution, you had to stick with it. Now you can jump in, you can come back out.
Here's one for you. I'm gonna use editorial license with this question. I think fencing can boast the athlete that spent the least time competing and get an Olympic medal.
Now this was in London 2012. I can't remember which team it was, to be fair.
Okay, I'll give you the team, but you've still got to hunt down the
Germany.
athlete. It was Germany, yeah.
So here we go. I've got the team now.
Right, okay. Brilliant.
And how many seconds were they on the piste for?
Less than a 100-meter sprint.
Well, 100-meter sprint, you've got to go through the heats.
That's true.
So, you're talking at least a couple of minutes of actual action time.
There was nothing. It was 30 seconds on the clock, I think. 32 seconds on the clock in London when the Germans had to bring on their substitute because of an injury.
I imagine in football, maybe you might have a substitution in the last minutes.
Olympic medal.
Yeah.
I know football is now in the Olympics, but
you could have that in football. I'm trying to think of sports where you can compete for a very short space of time. It'd have to be a team sport.
Hockey, maybe, I suppose.
Yeah, anyone where you can be substituted in at the last minute to get your medal. Do you know the rules in hockey and football? If you're a substitute and you don't play, do you still get a medal?
I've got no idea, actually.
I think you probably do. I think fencing might be unique in the fact that you don't. As the clock ticks down, neither fencer looking to take too many risks, and we're going to move from not wanting to give up the lead. And that's actually the first mini battle, if you like, that the Russians have won tonight. They won that one 3-2, Aslanov over Garotso.
So do you want to know the athlete that fenced?
Yeah, go on.
Andre Vessels. Sebastian Bachmann, Peter Yopik and Benny Kleibrink were on the piste in London, and they were leading with around about 30 seconds to go in the bronze medal match-off, and then Benny Kleibrink got a massive injury, couldn't carry on fencing. And Andre Vessels came on. A hit was scored against him. He got hit, and then he finished it off. He finished the fight off by scoring one hit. So it was 1-1. He drew effectively in his leg. But Andre Vessels, I'm sure he's going to be watching today with the German team coming up a bit later on. Italy kind of running away with this one now, aren't they?
Oh, I don't know, Cheremisinov.
Nice flick in Preem, that was good.
He's 3-1 up against Cassara.
Regarde. Hey, allez. Attaque de gauche. Non valable.
A few years ago, certainly coming into this competition, the world number 4, Richard Cruz from Great Britain, said, I said, how was it like fencing Andrea Cassara? And he said, it's like fencing in a washing machine, because he uses his blade action so much. He's actually slowed down a little bit, but found the blade that time. Cheremisinov says he hits the guard, but Pascal Mage sticks with his decision. But he used to be like a, rotate his blade all the time, and you just didn't know what you could do.
It wasn't so much a washing machine, it was one of those hay things on the back of a tractor that just spins around.
A rotator.
A rotator, yeah, that's the one.
But he doesn't do it so much now. He's a little bit more controlled with the hand. But his big thing is that he is super tall, and he's so compact when he sits on guard. You're looking at him now, he's going, you have to call for a video. And that time it's going to Cheremisinov. Cassara was looking up at the big screen there, not happy with that decision.
So target in this leg is not 25,
no,
it's 30.
Yeah, because of the slow, in inverted commas, last leg, the tactical application of Danny Garotso is scoring 2 hits and containing Aslanov.
So almost like gives this leg an extra bonus, if you like, an opportunity to really run away on either the Russians or to catch up dramatically. Or the Italians to really extend.
Pascal Mage going to have a look at the video on this one to try and find out when Cassara landed the hit, because he was down on the ground, and does he get it before the loss of equilibrium? And I use the word equilibrium instead of balance because that's what it says in the rules. But yes, he lost his balance, I think. Yeah, so he's saying the first counter-attack is off target, so no hit given there. Cheremisinov, I think they're buying a bit of time. I don't think he called for a video either. I think he just gave enough of a notion that perhaps the referee should go and have a look at that one, that he didn't actually use up his video for this fight.
Well, Cheremisinov scored 5, so anything he scores now will be a bonus. It'll be catch-up.
touche.
And he does
Point.
just that. 6-3 the score
En garde. Prêt.
in this leg.
En garde. Prêt. Allez. Ah, l'attaque est parée. La riposte non. La remise d'attaque non valable. En garde. Prêt. Allez. Ah, l'attaque. Passe. Contre-attaque touche. Point.
That was a brilliantly timed step-in counter-attack from Cheremisinov.
So it's Kasarar's right of way. He's advancing forward. Cheremisinov just nips in.
Yeah, it's because of the big blade action from Kasarar.
Idéal pour le corps à corps.
And here we go.
Touche de Cheremisinov.
Arm raised from the referee. It's a yellow card
Par une surface non valable.
for the Russian. And I
En
think
garde, s'il vous plaît.
that was for covering. And
Le masque.
for everyone out there that is not au fait with what covering means, it means bringing your non-sword arm across your target area, because your non-sword arm is not target, and so if your opponent hits it, you get a white light.
L'attaque est parée. La riposte passe.
As we get a white
La
light
remise
here,
d'attaque est non valable.
and that
Touche
doesn't
à
score
Kassaras,
points.
s'il vous plaît, en garde.
But if your arm wasn't in front of your target, you would hit the lame, and the lame brings up a coloured light. So it's a yellow card offence.
And the yellow card, it's kind of like half a point, isn't it? Because another yellow card will give a point to your opponent.
Yeah. It's like
It's a half point.
yeah, they call it avertissement, a warning. It's one, you get one strike if you like, and on the second one, if it whatever the infringement, it could be core a core, body to body, you're barging your opponent, or bringing your arm across again, or ducking your head. Those are just 3 examples of many in the rule book. If you do a second one, it doesn't matter which one it is, your opponent gets a point.
Prêt. Allez. Ah, l'attaque de gauche. Non valable. En garde. Prêt. Allez. Ah,
Of course, in a team format, it's just for each individual leg.
remise d'attaque est non valable.
If the fencer gets a yellow card, yes. But the referee can penalise the box.
Well, there we go.
Point.
There we go. Red card.
Second covering action for Cheremisinov for Kassarar, getting closer to that
Monsieur Cheremisinov, s'il vous plaît, le masque.
to
En
that
garde.
target of 30. I say second yellow card, and a lot of the referees come to me and say it's not a second yellow card.
Straight red.
It's
Yeah.
a red card. The
Yeah.
yellow card's already been given. It's a red card. But effectively,
Well, the reason why we say that is because of football. I know, and it's annoying.
But it is a second yellow card. It's another minor infringement. But because you've got one before,
Yeah, it's a
it becomes a
red.
red card.
Yeah.
It's not that it's a
Yeah.
straight red card, because a straight red card can be given. If a fencer uses their back arm, for example, to defend, this is considered unsporting behaviour, and you get a straight
Straight
red card.
red,
So
yeah.
there is a difference between the two. But going back to what you were saying, yes, the yellow cards stay within the fight, and that's why Cheremisinov gets a second one here and a point to Andrea Kassarar. But the box can be given a card as well if there's too much shouting or the coach is talking to the athlete on the piste. If the box is given a yellow card, then every time a fencer comes out onto the piste, they start with that yellow card.
Allez. Ah, l'attaque est parée. La riposte passe, la remise d'attaque touche. Point. Stay here, please.
And that's a big disadvantage as well, because
Huge.
that could last all the way through.
Huge.
That means you've lost your chance. You've lost your your chance. If you any infringement, and you're immediately shipping a point.
It's not as big a deal in foil, to be fair, because unless you've got a habit of covering target regularly, which at the moment Cheremisinov does seem to be getting called up for, but unless you've got that sort of bad habit, it doesn't. It's not that big a deal. I'll tell you where it's a massive problem. Sabre.
Prêt.
If you've got a yellow card to the boxing sabre,
Well, then any false start will do you.
Exactly.
Attaque au fer de droite.
so you have to be very careful off the line, and that means perhaps you're hesitant off the line because you're definitely waiting for the alley from the referee, and it gives your opponent a
And-
huge advantage.
Every single leg, all the way through. But how often are cards to the box given?
You probably see 1, 2 per tournament, per championships like this. We only show you some of the action that goes on at a fencing tournament. It could be happening over on a piece that we're not covering, but it will happen once or twice.
Yeah,
for sure.
a couple of times. Yeah. It's not something that you really want to have happen to you as a team.
Mr. Chermissinov, you have a yellow card. If you want, please.
If you want another, is that?
Brilliant.
Have you heard that? With the ref?
Pascal Mage.
Yeah.
Well, brilliant stuff from the referee there.
Corps à corps, halte, pas de touche. Regarde.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. You have it. You already have a yellow card. Do you want me to give you another one?
Having said all of that, Chermissinov is doing very, very well.
Au fer, à la première partie de la lame. C'est donc la parade. La parade.
Yes,
Attaque
I
au
agree
fer
with
de
this.
feu, temps complet.
Referee has given this as a parry riposte to Chermissinov. Andrea Cassara is pleading because he did go for a beat. He absolutely
And
did.
watch
Watch
this.
this here. He does go for the beat. Cassara on the right here. Look, there's the beat. Another one. But the action that the referee's calling is Cassara goes into the guard of Chermissinov. So it looks like a parry.
Yeah.
The question, I suppose, is did Chermissinov do that? Did he create that? Did he do the circular cease parry to get the right of way and then hit? Cassara is convinced it's wrong. Pascal Mage is back onto the piste.
Having a chat
No decision, pas de
with
touche.
Miguel Machado.
Pas de touche, no hit.
Wow.
So it was a good call from Cassara. He didn't get the hit, and he gives a sort of okay.
Well, it was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, wasn't it?
Hey, allez. Ah, cette attaque est parée. La riposte passe. La remise d'attaque est non valable. En garde. Hey, allez. Ah, choc de fer. Attaque est de gauche. Et touche. Point.
Cassara asking for Pascal Mage to go back again to have a chat with Miguel Machado.
La recherche de fer. L'attaque est de gauche. Et touche.
Searching for the blade, he says.
No video. No video.
No video left for either fencer now, so it's all down to the referee to make the decisions. Only get one video appeal per leg in team fencing.
En garde, s'il vous plaît.
29-23.
22.
They're closing it up, aren't they?
They are indeed. If you look at the individual scores, 11-7. Chermissinov, well, he's let one slip with the red card. And
En garde. En garde, s'il vous plaît. En garde. Prêt? Allez.
so can Chermissinov get another one before Cassara can see this out? We've only got 30 seconds left.
Non valable.
30 seconds of fencing time.
En garde.
An
Prêt?
attack from the left there off target.
Ah, cette attaque. Touche. Point.
And can indeed.
En garde, s'il vous plaît.
23-29. Chermissinov is bringing Russia right back into this
En
match.
garde. Prêt? Allez. Ah, cette attaque est parée. La riposte est non valable. En garde. Prêt? Allez. Ah, action simultanée. Ce qui touche. Point.
Well, Cassara finally ends it. and the score jumps to 30-23.
The first one, no. 29. The first one didn't function. It's enough. It's enough.
Well, that was a great leg from Alexei Cheremisinov.
Strong stuff from Pascal Mage there, and no hit given actually, so they're not coming off the piste. And the interesting thing is, Caceres has had a little mini complaint about that, and Pascal Mage has given his opinion, then Caceres went back to complain about it again. And Pascal Mage said, "I've told you once, I'm not going to tell you again. Get back on the piste and let's get on with the fencing."
So this leg, been a lot of needle in this sixth leg.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the case when you've got the Russians on the piste. They definitely like to get into your head, as do the Italians.
Well, Cheremisinov has done a great job of spoiling the flow of the Italian team. Yeah, there's a big thing about it doesn't matter how well you play, as long as you can make your opponent play worse. So I think Brad Gilbert, the tennis player and then coach, wrote a great book about winning dirty.
It's part of the game.
Cheremisinov could probably write the same book.
Mavlyotov there on the right, in the middle of the screen with the white hair. He's well known in the community as a superstar of foil coaching on the Russian Federation. Not in the box for the Russians, but Cheremisinov is having an absolute blinder here. He scored 16 hits.
Yeah, I think the problem actually is Caceres let him get inside his head, and he was so close to that target score of 30. He was going for it. Might have been better off just to be a bit more defensive and run the timeout.
Yeah, containment is a way forward, but the thing was Cheremisinov was coming after him, so he didn't really have much choice about that. But
sixth leg. So now we've seen everyone twice. I haven't used any of the reserves, or either of the reserves. Timur Aslanov is on for Russia, and it's Giorgio Avola on for the Italians. Just a 3-point lead now for the Italians when they had an 11-point lead.
Yeah, 11 points ahead. It's turned around. It's a big fight, this one. Avola against Arslanov. And again, I think Cipressa, the coach, may well be targeting Arslanov in this particular match, and he'll want Avola to go and build up the lead. And Graham, I think that Alessio Facconi, well, I know Alessio Facconi is warming up. The question is he going to come on, or is this a bit of brinkmanship from the Italian team as Ava launches another one of those flick hits?
Well, it's a smoke screen, isn't it?
Okay. Ready? On it. That is push. Wow. Okay. Ready? On it.
Well, the Italians, they like a fine wine, Avola and Cassara, they just seem to get better with age.
Yeah, lucky them.
I don't know, Graham.
Something you can quite say the same.
Get better with
I
age.
don't think you can say the same in the commentary box.
Nice attack from Giorgio Avola there. Really good. It's the increase of speed and the acceleration at the end is what foxed Timur Arslanov.
Point for Aslanov. Oh, beautiful long attack from Giorgio Avola. So we always say in team events, you never really know where you are until you get into this final third. The 7th, 8th and 9th periods of the match. And this is so important. It's a bronze medal match at the European Championships. Yes, this is for a medal at the European Championships. But this is all about points for Olympic qualification. And you would have expected these two teams to be fighting for gold. And as it is, they're fighting for bronze. And another point for Giorgio Avola and a really good 7th leg there.
They're definitely targeting Timur Arslanov, and I'm surprised the Russians didn't go for the substitution. And you can see the Russian coach there very disappointed with the outcome of that one. A 5-3 win for Avola.
Yeah, and it's just given the Italians a little bit of a cushion.
Cassara coming through.
Hold on, there has been a substitution. Serebchenko's come on. He's come on for Safin.
And Facconi's on as well.
Facconi's come on.
The double substitution. This could be huge.
So Facconi's come on for Cassara and Serebchenko has come on for Safin.
I think it's tactical from the Italians. They planned this in advance, and I think it's a reaction from the Russians. Safin on a -7 indicator after 2 fights has been put on the bench, and Serebchenko, former world champion, has been brought out onto the field of play. I think that Coach Cipressa on the Italian squad had already decided that this was going to be the match where he would bring Facconi on, but I think he was expecting Timur Safin to be his opponent.
Well, Facconi won the individual title. He's the reigning world champion. He's number 1 in the world. But sometimes when you go into team competitions, it's only a couple of days after you've expended all of that emotional energy to win a medal. Sometimes you then are not. You expect to be the strongest in the team, but you're not because you're drained from doing so well in the individual.
Yeah, and it was his first European title as well. So I think that adds to that. But Facconi is a superstar. He's an absolute legend. He's had to battle through the years of being in the shadow of Casarat, Avalar, Aspromonte, Baldini,
Garozzo.
well, maybe not so much Garozzo because Garozzo's a bit younger, but
Garozzo came through and almost
won the
leapfrogged him.
yeah,
Won the Olympic Games.
Incredible result. But now we see the very, very best of Alessio Facconi, winning in Paris earlier on this season in the individual and then taking the Shanghai Grand Prix in May. He is on the form of his life. He's super confident and such a nice guy.
Yeah. The Italians actually have their warm-up area. Everyone's given a little warm-up area around the hall, and theirs is just underneath the stand where our commentary box is. So we walk past them every day. Well, lots of times every day. And they're always there, friendly, chatting, saying hello. Well, they weren't after they got beaten by Germany. So just a reminder that we're going to run straight through with the next bronze medal match. We're not going to kind of run to time or anything. We're going to bring out France versus Italy for the bronze medal women's sabre competition. But later on, we can't give you an exact time of when the women's sabre will be because it will run straight on after the men's final of the team foil competition. So the men's team foil competition will start at 6 o'clock, and the women's gold medal match in the sabre competition will run straight after that. So it's kind of like 2 sessions: bronze medal session, gold medal session.
Yeah, and it's Russia versus Hungary in that gold medal match in the women's sabre. But what we can say, Graham, is that they'll run these two, as you put it, they're going to run the bronze medal matches as one session. So we'll have this match and then the women's sabre bronze medal match. We will only start the men's foil gold medal match at 6 p.m. Central European time, though. So there could be a break. And looking at it now, 36-31 in the penultimate round of the men's foil. The sabre's going to come out pretty quick. The women's sabre's going to come out pretty quick. I'm not sure we're going to have much of a break between the two.
We'll be lucky to get it done in. This will take another 10 minutes before it's over. And then you've got 50 minutes for the women's team sabre bronze medal match. So I think it'll pretty much run all the way through.
Play. Ali. Bien, attaque non, après c'est la contre-attaque non valable, et après c'est la remise. On garde. Et vous prêt. Allez. Attaque non, contre-attaque touche non valable. On garde. Prêt. Allez. Attaque non valable. On garde, s'il vous plaît. Êtes-vous prêt? Allez. balle, attaque, non, la retouche, point.
Brilliant counter there from Zerebchenko. Lovely little stop hit, got away out of danger.
Allez.
Two apiece in this penultimate leg.
Yeah, been a bit of a cagey one. I'm not sure Facconi knew he was going to be facing Zerebchenko. Zerebchenko, of course, would have gone into the match knowing that it was Cassara he was facing until the substitution was made by Andrea Cipressa, the coach. So this is a critical match. There is Cassara. He's not happy that he's been substituted by the looks of things. He's a great team player, though. I have to say that he is. He can be one of the strongest competitors on the piste, Andrea Cassara. And if you only see him fencing, you might have a bit of a distorted view on him, because he's an ultra competitive person, and so he does look sometimes like he's almost too aggressive, but I can tell you he is the nicest guy in the world, and he will definitely be supporting Alessio Facconi right now as Danny Garozzo, our Olympic champion from Rio 2016, warms up for the final match.
And the Russians are close enough as we go down to the last couple of seconds. Facconi just grabbing another. Of course, we don't need to reach that target score of 40, and we're not going to with 4 seconds left on the clock. You never know.
This is brilliant. It's a brilliant hit from Alessio Facconi. He's waiting for Zerebchenko to start his attack. That's what he's patiently waiting for, and then he's diving in on the counter.
So the score sits at 38-32. We're going into the final leg, and the Olympic champion Daniele Garozzo is coming on.
And dusted. I think Danny Garozzo here is going to be able to contain and control Alexei Cheremisinov right now. He can't be too passive, that's for sure. And a failed attack. And look at the sword of Alexei Cheremisinov. It's bent at probably about, what, 40 degrees? He hits here, but no light comes up. There's a clear hit, but no light comes up on the box. That's unfortunate for the Russians. There's a number of reasons for that to happen, though, that could be Cheremisinov's, not his fault, but his responsibility. You tape the weapons. So right up the way to the top of the barrel of the foil, you have insulation tape. Because if the foil goes in and hits the lame and bends, it earths the weapon out, so it can't score if you haven't got any insulation tape on there. So let's say there's a millimetre that they've missed when taping that foil up. That will earth that hit out. And he's immediately surrendered that weapon to the referee, and Pascal Madge is just checking the new weapon. It's unfortunate, for sure, but Cheremisinov was talking to his box and saying, check the tape. Please check that the tape is all the way up to the top of the barrel. So I don't get earthing like that. Because he definitely hit, there's no doubt.
Well, Cheremisinov's weapon's working now.
Danny Garozzo, though, not happy with the decision there.
Oh, he's changed it.
This time you stop with your legs. That's what Pascal Mage there just said.
So, yeah, this is all about who has the right of way, who's initiating the attack.
Together. I agree with this one. But Andrea Cassara standing up in the box saying video, 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 and Pascal Mage turns around to him and says, you cannot ask for it. It has to be Garozzo.
Garozzo's not going to turn around to Cipressa and say, "I'm sorry, coach, but I'm not going to ask."
Well, it was Cassara that was actually standing up calling for the video. I think you're right. Cipressa agreed, but he wasn't the one that was being talked at by Pascal Mage. But the video has been reviewed. And I agree. This is it. One's going faster than the other, but if you start at the same time and you finish, then it's together, and it's correct. Waste of a video for me. Nice.
Yeah, set up that one nicely, Chermissinov.
Ça contre riposte, passe. Remise de riposte, touche. Regarde, s'il vous plaît.
So Italy and Daniele Garozzo, they are only 4 points away from a bronze medal.
Regarde, s'il vous plaît.
Chermissinov, though, good anchor for the Russian team. Bags of experience. He's not going to let this one go easy. And he's still got bags of time as well. Nice attack from him as well. Danny Garozzo, I said right at the beginning of this match, he cannot be too passive. And at the moment, I just get the sense that he's not prepared to push just a little bit. Even if he doesn't attack, he should be giving Chermissinov something to think about, but he's going for the defensive approach and lands a beauty in close quarters. There's a little bit of a needle between these teams, that's for sure.
It was Garozzo claiming that Chermissinov was blocking target, but he can't. He's wasted his video review. Can't ask.
And potentially lifting up his back leg to make it very difficult. Preparation correct. This is correct. The referee has said that Danny Garozzo started the attack, but then he stopped. That gives the right of way to Chermissinov, and Chermissinov gets the hit. I think that's a spot-on decision from Pascal Mage. Andrea Cipressa does not agree.
Regarde, prêt. Allez. C'est la même chose, préparation. Attaque de gauche. Attention à droite. Regarde, yellow card.
Well, carte jaune, yellow card for Danny Garozzo. I was just looking down at the Italian box then to see what the reaction was from Cipressa. So I don't actually know what that was for. Unsure, but a yellow card for certain.
Yeah,
Nice.
Daniele Garozzo can't allow Chermissinov to get him rattled like Andrea Cassara did.
Stepped in on preparation there. Quick counter attack to put a stop to Chermissinov's attack. Now Garozzo picking up a circular cease parry.
Off target.
Just hits the leg. You can see Garozzo's intensity has gone up just that little bit, and that's what he needs to do. Well, now it's Cheremisinov that calls for the video review here as the attack is given to Danny Garozzo of Italy.
Which,
This
if,
for the bronze medal, of course.
if this isn't overturned, it will bring the Italians to just 1 point away from that bronze medal.
Attaque de droite. Touche. Point.
And that is, in fact, the score, 44-36.
Regarde prêt. Allez.
Looks to me like Daniele Garozzo is going to do this comfortably now in the end.
Distance.
Telling decision there from the referee, gave that off target to Danny Garozzo.
Allez.
Attack right, and that's why it was telling, because again, the same action from Garozzo as the previous one where he hit off target and Pascal Madge was completely consistent. Attack right, touche. Garozzo takes it.
And Italy massively disappointed in the semi-finals to lose to the home team, Germany, in a really exciting match, have come through.
Vainqueur l'Italie.